Hey guys, so in the past year I have fallen completely in love with stick foundations. Before last year I had never tried a stick foundation in my life. They all just looked super cakey and super weird. I just didn't understand the concept of a stick foundation. But this past year I have fallen in love with that form of foundation, and it has to be my favorite kind of foundation ever. So today's video is going to be Stick Foundation 101. I'm going to take you through the best and the worst of the stick foundations from the drugstore and from high-end makeup places like Sephora. So yeah, this is basically going to be like a big old review of all of the stick foundations I've tried. So we have 4 different high-end ones. Physically I only have 3 because Bianca stole one of my stick foundations and hasn't given it back. And then 3 from the drugstore because the drugstore doesn't have as many, not yet anyway. Stick foundations have really blown up recently and it's like a huge trend in the beauty community. So I feel like this is going to be useful because if you're like me and you hadn't ever tried a stick foundation before, you just want a little rundown on it, I'm going to be your guide. Okay, we're going to start off with the high-end ones because I feel like they're the more popular and the ones I like better. So we're going to start off there. I'm going to start off with the one that I'm wearing on my face right now, which is the Hourglass. What is this called? This is the Vanish Stick Foundation. It looks like this. Packaging is kind of a triangle. Then you open it and it's like a triangle. You twist it up, you put it on, and you blend it out. So this is what I'm wearing right now. I have the shade Nude, and I love this stick foundation. The reason I love it is because you can pile this shit on, like keep on going, build up the coverage as much as you want, and it will still look good. Like it still blends out beautifully. It's a nice, really creamy formula, so when you swipe it on, it's not going to tug at your skin or anything, but it gives a really great amount of coverage. It is like a nice, I would say like a satin finish. It's definitely got some shine to it before you matte it down. Obviously I'm super shiny right now, but that's because of my highlight, not because of the foundation, because before I put in this highlight, I was actually really matte after I powdered and everything. So it's a great foundation because you can keep it dewy and nice and glowing, or you can matte it down with some powder. It's very versatile. It's really nice buildable coverage. It starts off probably a medium and then you can build it up to full. Overall, in general, stick foundations do have a little bit higher coverage than liquids, but yeah, this one is great. It is very expensive. I think it's somewhere in the $60 range. I think maybe like 62 or 65, but it is great. Like I would say if you are a little bit older and you want a stick foundation, this is a good one because it's nice and moisturizing. It doesn't really settle into any lines. Sometimes I get some line, like smile lines will, like cakey foundations will settle here. This doesn't do that, so I can't really see it settling in lines. It's a great foundation for like special occasions. If you're going to be on camera, it doesn't have any flashback. It is just a great foundation. I love this one. It is very expensive though, so it's not my top favorite because of that reason, and I also like this other one way better. I've talked about it before on my channel. You probably know what it is, but the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation is really great and I do love it. Highly recommend that. Okay, the next stick foundation I'm going to talk about is my absolute favorite foundation of all time. I've talked about this on my channel a lot. Well, not a lot, but quite a few times. I love it, love it, love it so much. I have several shades in this just to make sure that I have a shade that matches me all the time, and that is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick Foundation. If you look at this stick right now, it is completely at the end. I love this stuff so much from the moment I used it. The reason I love this is because it looks good all the time. No matter what your skin is like under it, it's gonna make your skin look beautiful. It's a great buildable coverage. You can start off medium. Even if you want to use like a really damp beauty blender and sheer it out, you can get a nice sheer coverage. It's very versatile. It looks incredible on camera. Obviously it's Ultra HD, it should, but it looks incredible on camera. You can build it up nicely. It's really nice and moisturizing. If you are oily, you are gonna have to powder, maybe use a mattifying primer underneath, but if you're more combo to dry, if you're combo, you're gonna get some oils that are gonna come through your skin. I don't mind that personally. I like that look throughout the day. I like when my oils come through. It makes me look more natural, kind of makes the foundation settle into my skin a little bit better. Yeah, but it is a very emollient foundation formula, so it's going to slip onto your skin really nicely. It's going to blend out really easily because it's got that slip to it. You can build it up to a super full coverage if you have a special occasion, or if you want to take pictures. You can build it up to be completely full coverage if you have a breakout. Like I said, you can sheer it out. It is just incredible. If you get a darker shade, you can use it to contour too. I love this stuff no matter what. Like literally, I know anytime I put this on, my skin is going to look great that day. and that's just really, it's just all about consistency. Like, you know what you're getting with this stuff, and I absolutely love it. Oh my god, mwah. This, I think, is in the $40 to $50 range, so it is expensive, but seriously, you guys, this is the best foundation I've ever tried. Stick, liquid, powder, doesn't matter the form, this is my favorite. Okay, now we're gonna turn to the dark side. Not the dark side, but we're gonna take a little detour into not so fun town. So the next stick foundation I'm going to talk about is the Bobbi Brown stick foundation, which was actually the first stick I had ever heard of or was interested in trying. The shade I have here is beige. This is just way too moisturizing for me. Like, it goes on, it's got a nice coverage. It does have nice coverage, it builds up nicely, it goes on nice, it blends out good, but I don't know, it just doesn't make my skin look good. I feel like my skin just looks really oily all the time, like it doesn't set into the skin. That is something I will say about these foundations that I like, that they set into the skin, especially once you powder them down. You're not gonna like put your finger on your face and come up and have foundation all over your fingertips. That is the most annoying thing to me. I hate that. But this thing, oh, it doesn't matter how much you powder, it doesn't matter what you do throughout the day. You can literally sit still, not move your face one bit, and powder the shit out of it, and once you touch your face, it's gonna feel tacky. Like, this thing just always feels tacky and sticky and moist. Ooh, I hate that word. But yeah, this, I don't like it. Like, I know this is probably like a cult favorite, and I have seen, mostly I've seen people use this to contour, like cream contour with, which maybe that works because you're gonna put a powder on top of it. Actually, I still don't see how that could work, because if it's gonna move, which this foundation does move around on your face, I just don't see how that would work for contouring, but people love it for that. I don't know. I really don't like this stuff. I think it's too creamy, it's too emollient, it just slips and slides around, it doesn't stay in place, it makes you look super oily, like too oily, like I don't mind oils coming through on my skin, but this just makes me look like a freaking oil slick. I don't like it at all, but mostly the reason I don't like it is because of the feeling. Like, if I feel the foundation getting oily on my skin, ugh, I want to barf. So I don't like this stuff. I really don't. Okay, and the one that I don't have with me that I want to talk about is the Anastasia Beverly Hills stick foundation. That got a lot of hype on the internet when it first came out, because it was supposed to be a stick foundation more geared towards oily skin, and that's kind of the reason I hate it. I felt like when I tried it, I would put it on and it wasn't the coverage I expected at all, because when all the reviews I had heard before I had tried it was like, oh, super full coverage, covers everything. And I put it on and I was like, bitch, where? Like, what? I blended it out and I was like, okay, I need to do another layer. And I would put another layer, blend it out, and I'd be like, okay, I kind of need another layer. This is crazy. Like, a stick foundation, like I said before, tends to have more coverage than other foundations. So I was just very confused. Like, why do I still see blemishes on my skin? Like, this is supposed to be full coverage. So I kept building it up until I got the coverage I wanted, which really wasn't even, still wasn't the coverage I wanted, and it just didn't look good on my skin. It was very hard to blend out. I think that's because it's geared more towards oily skin, so it was a little, it wasn't as rich as other stick foundations. It had a little more tug to it, not as much slip, so it was really hard to blend out. I just really didn't enjoy it. Like, I expected a lot more from it. Maybe I'm too dry for it, but I use matte foundations all the time. I just didn't like the way it made my skin look. I know my friend Jess, she has really oily skin and she liked it better than me, but it was really just the coverage thing. Like, you're a stick foundation and you claimed that you were full coverage. I just didn't understand it. It's a pretty high price point for what it is. I don't know, I just didn't like it. Like, I know there was a lot of hype to it, so I might get some hate for this, but I mean, just because it didn't work for me doesn't mean it's not gonna work for you guys. But even Bianca, the person that has the stick foundation right now, she took it from me and she was like, yeah, I don't like this. And she has like mega oily skin and she didn't like it either. She said the same thing about the coverage. I don't know. It just confused me. I don't like it at all. I'll probably never use it again. Bianca still has it and I haven't really even asked for it back because I have no interest in using it. But yeah, not my favorite at all. But these two right here, bae. Okay, so that is my rundown on my high-end stick foundations. There are obviously more. Are there? Yeah, there are more stick foundations. I just haven't tried any. If I try any more, I'll probably do like separate foundation reviews on those because I do love stick foundations. But for now, we're gonna go on to the drugstore ones. So the first one that I tried was the Maybelline Fit Me Shine Free and Balance Foundation Stick for combination skin. This just was not enough coverage for me, and I think it's because that it has this like shine free core thing that doesn't have any pigment to it. So I think when you swipe it on your skin, I mean, it looks like it has full coverage there, but when you put it on your skin and really blend it out, that like core thing mixes in with the actual foundation formula and it just shears it out, and I just didn't like it. It didn't give me enough coverage. I felt like I kept putting a lot on my face. But what I did like about it was that it feels very silicone-y, like it very like slick or smooth but not slick, if you know what I mean. Like it feels nice and like smooth, but it doesn't have any like when you rub your fingers together, it's kind of dry feeling, kind of like the way Benefit Professional might feel. So when you put that on your face, if you have oily skin, that's gonna be really good. But I feel like when you have oily skin, you tend to look for more coverage. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, I didn't like the way this wore. When I would put it on my skin and blend it out, it just kind of disappeared. I would have to touch up. Yeah, I didn't like the coverage of it. It didn't build up very well. It wore throughout the day. I did stay pretty matte the entire day, I will say that. So if you are oily, that is a plus to this, but I just didn't like the way my skin looked either. It didn't look, I mean, I like a super like flawless finish. I want to like look in the mirror and be like, skin looks good. This, I would look in the mirror and be like, oh God, there's so many things I can correct right now. The fact that it kept me pretty matte throughout the day was great, but I don't really care about being matte throughout the day, to be honest. As long as I'm not as slick as the Bobbi Brown is gonna make me, I'm good with having a little oil on my face. I don't care about touching up. But this shine free, yeah, balance, I don't know. It just wasn't there for me. It's not the worst thing in the world. There are some perks to it, but I'm never gonna use it again. Oh, another thing I had to say about the Maybelline was that when it wore off, it kind of wore off like patchy. Like it wasn't like at the end of the day my whole face wasn't there. It was like throughout the day and pretty early on I would look at my skin in the mirror and like patches of foundation would be on, which is not okay at all. Yeah, so the next one I'm going to talk about is the NYX Mineral Stick Foundation. This one, the coverage just wasn't there. Like I built this shit up a lot and it just wasn't there. It was really slick. I ended up getting super oily throughout the day, like to the point where like oily so much that it like slipped off my face. Like halfway through the day I looked in the mirror, I was like, where the hell is my foundation? Especially like in the center, like around my nose and stuff. I was like, oh God, this is not cute. I also have seen people use this, much like the Bobbi Brown. I have seen people use this for contouring, but I just don't see how that would work for contouring, because even when you powder it, it doesn't stay in place. I just didn't like this. It is very cheap. It's a good price point, but I'd rather spend more money for a better foundation, honestly. Coverage, meh. Finish, meh. Wear time, horrible. Wear, like the actual wear, like how it looks throughout the day, not good. Just not a good stick foundation, guys. Don't get this one. Okay, this last one that I'm going to talk about was the ultimate surprise. I actually still use this all the time, and this is the e.l.f. Moisturizing Foundation Stick. I really like this stuff, guys. Like literally out of all of the foundation sticks from the drugstore, this is my favorite. It has really great coverage. It's very buildable. It actually reminds me a lot of the Makeup Forever Ultra HD. I mean, they're comparable, but like obviously this one's way better. Very buildable coverage. It is slightly tacky, but you can powder it down and that kind of goes away. It gives you a nice satin finish, much like the Ultra. I feel like these are like drugstore dupes, or like this is a drugstore dupe for this, because they have very similar finishes, very similar coverage. The only thing I will say about this is it just gives you an overall like nicer effect to your skin. It does get oily throughout the day. It is a moisturizing foundation, so it gets oilier than this does throughout the day. But once again, I don't mind that because I powder in the morning, and I don't mind touching up halfway through the day, like after lunch or whatever. I don't mind my oils coming through. I kind of like that look. It makes my foundation sit better, as I said before, but oily skin will have to touch up and you will have to blot, but it just looks really good in your skin. And overall, it's really great for the price. I think this was a $6 product. So for $6, you get really, really good stick foundation that's comparable to like a $45 foundation. I think that's awesome. This is actually the foundation I keep at my desk at work, because I basically do my makeup at my desk at work every day. And I really, really like it. The shade I have is Nude, and it's awesome, you guys. Like, seriously, if you want to try a stick foundation out just to see if you like stick foundations and you've never tried them before and you don't want to spend a lot of money, I would go ahead and get the e.l.f. one. Just give it a try. Their shade selection is very limited, so that kind of sucks. But if you happen to find a shade that fits you, go ahead and give this one a try. Yeah, guys, that is my rundown on stick foundation. I also wanted to mention stick foundation is just like way easier, especially this is the reason I keep this at my desk at work, because when I do my makeup at work, I don't want people to like walk by my desk and think I'm just sitting there doing my makeup all day, even though it's kind of my job. So to just like slap a few swipes of this on and blend it out quickly is so much easier. So if you're busy in the morning, you only have like a few minutes to do your makeup, stick foundation in general is just so much easier than like doing a pump and then dabbing it all over your face and then blending it out. It's just like blend, 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 and you're done. It is awesome. But yeah, you guys, I hope this video was helpful. I know that when I first started being interested in stick foundation, that something like this would have been great. I didn't even look, there probably is something like this, but I just wanted to give you my opinion on all of my stick foundations, because I've recently, this is like the only, when I use liquid foundation right now, I kind of get annoyed at the process. I really only ever use it when I have like a good amount of time to do my makeup. But stick foundation is awesome. If you find one that you love, it's just gonna make your makeup routine so much better. So I hope this was helpful. I hope I gave you some tips on some makeup to try. Make sure that if you did enjoy this and you did find it helpful, that you give this video a thumbs up, and also that you subscribe so that you can find some more helpful videos from me if you haven't subscribed already. Yeah, I love you all so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.